Hello, welcome to our second season at the Olympic Climate Report. I'm your host, Doug Taylor. We'll be doing things a little differently this season. I hope to present in each episode of the report our ongoing saga of Ecotopia Rising, a story of survival and humanity in a dystopian world coming soon to a planet near you. In our report this season, I hope to get away from the movement talk, messaging memes, and the gobbledygook of media speak, so that we, my friends, neighbors, folks in our community here on this peninsula, can maybe talk to each other as people about the things that concern us most as people. Which is more urgent, to save the industrial world complex, or to assure that my grandchildren have food to eat, as the agri-industry that feeds us all now becomes increasingly unprofitable? Do we go on pursuing the consumer metaverse, or shall we look to the welfare of our own flesh and blood? In my stories, my logical discourses, my rants and raves, my commentaries, I just want to talk to you, a person. And I'd like to hear from you, a person. It may be then we'll be able to talk turkey about what a community can do on behalf of its descendants. So, here it is, Chapter 1 in 2 acts of Ecotopia Rising. MA8CCH, MTA-ECO. MA8CCH, MT8-ECO, come in. Ecotopia Station, come in. Yeah, I've got total QRN here. It's standby. MA8CCH, MT8-ECO. Yeah, I'm not getting anything here. Yeah, look, I've got nothing here. If you're getting this, just wait out. I'll try you at 80 when I'm QTH again, around 0900. Out. I hope they're all okay. That was a nasty system that went over them last night. Well, onward to today's trials and tribulations. Maybe we'd all be better off if they just drowned. Oh, come off it, Colonel. Those Ecotopians are good people. They're living close to the earth, living simple and surviving. Not like a lot of people I could point to. Entire populations don't go into hiding unless they're up to something. Listen, Hank. Learn all you can about 'em and keep me informed. Understand? Yes, sir. Sure thing. and make sure they understand the Relief and Pacification Force is here to help them. Well, they don't seem to want any of your help. Right. That's the problem. We'll return to our friends in Ecotopia in just a moment. But first, let me share an important message about an all-volunteer climate force just around the corner from you, Olympic Climate Action. Do you want to know the real scoop about the climate crisis and how it is impacting our region and our peninsula? Do you want to be among the best informed, most prepared citizens in your community? Well, our good friends at Olympic Climate Action are just the people you want to get in touch with. OCA. No other climate-concerned agency or organization is as sterling a source for the truth, the actions, and the stories impacting our communities in the era of climate disruption. Olympic Climate Action, where the action is. And now back to our story of Ecotopia Rising.
John, I hear you plucking on your ukulele. Where are you? John!
I am under the banana tree, meditating.
Sitting and daydreaming more like. Ha! So, here you are.
Gonna be hot when the sun comes up. Just getting my breakfast down early.
Well, we need to be ready for the day. We could be under a river by nightfall. Did you get a weather bug from Cascade Hank yet?
The ridge man don't want to talk.
What do you mean? I heard him trying to get you in. Why didn't you answer?
Ridge man don't want to talk.
Don't go all tribal stoic on me, sweetheart. How do you know he didn't want you to answer?
Read his thoughts.
Oh, mystical powers of the Red Man?
Yep, smoke signals.
Do you think he's ticked off because we won't talk to his colonel?
No, not Hank. Mama Alana says Cascade Ridge Hank has a mind like the cool waters of a pond on a still summer afternoon. She's sweet on him, I think.
Sweet on his voice. She's never seen him.
Yeah, I think he had company this AM. I'll get back on the radio after sunup.
Gonna get hot by then. Clear skies. Unfurl the solar sail from sunup to sundown. But get that weather bug from Hank, just in case.
I'll get the sail up for the day. Why don't you gather some snacks for supper after a long morning nap? See you under the rocks.
Get to work, young man. I'm off to forage for our provender.
I'll get us soaking up the sun.
Oh, and hook up the buggy. We've got a meeting at the lodge house after sunset.
MTA DCO, MAH CCH. Hank, speak to me, old man. I've been worried about you. All's well on the ridge this morning, Tall Tree. Been going through the mail, and I got a good weather bug for you. Looks like you're at Hell's Gate by 1100. But just after sundown, you'll start to catch a warm, sultry breeze. You'll think you've gone to paradise. Oh, lovely. My Selena will be delighted. Well, yeah, but by 0300 you'll be under a river with a river under your feet. Keep the branches of the trees, the high ones. Today the cool, damp cave keeps off the burning sun. Tomorrow we snuggle in our warm, dry hut among the branches of the monkey pod trees. Sounds like a touch of paradise to me. Ah, you Ecotopians, surrounded by swamps and bogs and moors the National Guard couldn't penetrate, cut off from civilization, and you say it's paradise. Cut off, Shame about that guard unit. I'd have sworn that bridge was still working. Froze solid wide open. Wasted trip for the troops. Ah, well. Yeah, funny how that happened. Right after I told you they were on the way, the bridge goes out.
Johnny, it's cool and fine downstairs. Come on inside before you swelter.
Yeah, well, that's my YL calling, partner. Thanks for the bug. I'll listen for you on the air. I always got you covered, buddy. Oh, listen for the Johnson brothers. They'll want to hear from you. Out.
Yay!
The roles of Cascade Hank, Colonel Horner, and John Taltree were played today by Douglas Taylor. The role of Selina was played by Miss Tiffany Plumley. In our story of the Ecotopians, we propose a near future when the centralized economic and industrial civilization has collapsed. That is not an unlikely scenario. In fact, it's probably the most likely. At best, the mass of humanity will face exhaustion of agri-factory centralized food production, the forced abandonment of the fossil-based centralized energy economy, and before the end, severe, if not complete, disruption of centralized distribution systems. You know, I fear we in the climate action community have become hyper-focused on our faith in science to provide the answers we need to prepare for the dire consequences immediately ahead. I mean, that's not to say that science is not important. It's invaluable. But it is in no wise sufficient. Allow me to offer a moment of logic to explore that assertion. For our case in point, I offer this well-known graph, which has become something of an idol in climate concerned circles. The observations and findings of many experiments and observations tells us that this is very good science and a useful tool to measure one thing only: the impact of rising CO2 emissions on average world temperatures. My assertion, which you might find uncomfortable to consider, is that this shows science to be a very limited reasoning tool. All that science can ever tell us about any combination of events or phenomena is whether some two successive events are causally connected. Did A cause A? For our text on that, I refer you to Mill's System of Logic, Volume 2, Chapter 5, The Law of Universal Causation. Hope you've gotten your free copy from the good librarians at the Gutenberg Project, or better, have your own dog-eared copy at your bedside. It is not only a marvelous and comprehensive examination of the subject, but a great way to get to sleep if you've been suffering from insomnia. Now, it's kind of curious that the very quality of science that makes it such a narrow tool makes it a very sharp tool. Yes, science can only tell us one thing in any instance. Does A yield A? However, because of the requirement for rigorous proofs, we can, with confidence, build chains of deductive reasoning that let us project effects like rising seas, melting ice, changing local climatic conditions, and such. We have, however, there reached the end of what science can do. Science can produce the mournful numbers that reveal our predicament, but in making life choices, taking political and social action, planning for the future, it can only tell us those mournful numbers, facts that can help us gauge the conditions our young can expect to encounter, but almost nothing directly about how to effectively prepare our society for those conditions. And in the most urgent matter, persuading people en masse to commit to actions they might resist, science is at its weakest. As in John Stuart Mill's day, the social science remains essentially in its infancy, proto-science at best. And our adversaries, the propagandists of the industrial world empire, have such science as can be applied, mostly at the level of behavioral and emotional triggers, well mastered. To engage people in cognitive reasoning and constructive consideration of options is beyond the purview of the vague social sciences. So I guess what I hope you'll take from our moment of logic today is the consideration that it might be past the time for beating out the rhythm of mournful numbers. Instead, considering what measures we can pursue within our reach to prepare our peninsula for a time when we will be thrown back on the resources at hand, when survival at all will depend on a culture of self-reliance and community cohesion, and being educated will mean knowing how to grow food, manufacture and use basic tools and machines, and live for other than the excitement of consuming toys, luxuries, clever machines, and escape into a meaningless fantasy metaverse. The science doesn't take us there, and can only provide signposts along the way. But thought, reasoning, collaboration in community, these are still available. Applied compassion, motivation on behalf of our posterity, these are available. So I assert here that we need to recognize that science will never answer our questions. No matter how hard we stare at these numbers, no matter how accurate these numbers are, they cannot be the guide into the future. For that, we need the arts, what we call now humanities. The art of anticipating conditions, the art of reason, the art of communication. They will not save our children from the catastrophe. But we might be able to leave them with the tools for survival if we turn our eyes toward those goals now. Anyway, that's what I think. I welcome reasoned refutation. Thanks for joining me in A Moment of Logic. Well, that does it for today, folks. We've met a couple of our Ecotopians, John Talltree, proud American tribesman, and his Selena, who spend, it appears, much of their time dodging unpredictable weather events. Thank goodness they have a friend in Cascade Ridge Hank, who seems to have his finger in the pie of weather prediction, and maybe in other pies as well. You know, if you want to understand the mystery of the Ecotopians before others do, you could do much worse than to brush up on your Morse code. Not only will it help you understand what's happening with our Ecotopians, when the World Wide Web does go down, radio will still work, and even in disruptive climate situations, Morse code can get through. Meanwhile, back here at the extensive and expanded studios of the Olympic Climate Report, here in my closet, I've been thinking about the next episode. You know, the ancestors of the Ecotopians had a saying It was part of their plan for the descendants. They said, "We will bring our treasures home." Maybe we'll have a chance to explore how that idea percolated in time and how it became part of the lives of those descendants. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm thinking of taking up scuba lessons so that I can take a walk underneath an atmospheric river in the future. See you again on the Olympic Climate Report.